It's hard to imagine in our lifetime a president who was more revered by the Jews than FDR. And I'm talking about the Frumid, and I'm talking about the Jewish Ummah as a whole. 85% of Jews voted for FDR. Well, during FDR's last term in office, the Holocaust occurred. And word got out from the concentration camps. Jews were dying, millions of Jews. So in 1943, something happened, the Rabbis' March. Wikipedia actually has the Rabbis' March. It was a demonstration to support Allied action to stop the destruction of European Jewry. It took place in Washington, October 6th, 1943. A lot of Rabbanim were there. Kalmanovich was there, Blazer Silva, 400 rabbis, the Union of Orthodox Rabbis, United States and Canada, from all over they came. And they came to the White House. They were informed that the president was busy all day. It was later learned, according to Wikipedia, that Roosevelt had several free hours in the afternoon. 400 Ziknei Rabbanim stood outside by the locked gates. Within, a guard with his shoulders stretched back, his chin out, eyes looking into the distance. 400 Rabbanim. Imagine the sight. And what was going on in Europe during this time? Here's a clip, what Roosevelt could have done. Roosevelt, who the Jews loved so much, they called him Franklin Delano Rosenfeld, right? This is what historians say, some historians say about what he could have done to prevent some of the murder in Europe by bombing the tracks that led to the concentration camps.
We now know the Allies had access to certain information very early on, and that proof of this becomes more plentiful, clear, and more frightening every year. Some of these documents long remained official secrets and are as shocking as they are disturbing. Yes, Churchill, Roosevelt, de Gaulle, and Stalin knew much more about the elimination of Jews than the 1945 footage of the liberation of the death camps lets on. But was knowing enough to take action? That is the question.
So here it is, Lev Malachim, Franklin Delano Rosenfeld, 85% of the Jewish vote. Didn't turn out so well. Right, we got the person we wanted. And here's the exact opposite. Harry Truman, unrevered by the Jews. An anti-Semite towards the Jewish people as a whole. Here's what you can read this online, what they found in his library. Really astonishing statements of his. He delivered a furious anti-Semitic polemic, number of them in his diary. The Jews, mused Truman, are very, very selfish. They don't care how many Latvians, Poles, Greeks get murdered or mistreated, as long as the Jews get special treatment. Yet when they have power, political, financial, physical, listen to this, astonishing, neither Hitler or Stalin, these are the two biggest murderers in history, has anything on them for cruelty or mistreatment of the underdog. He said the Jews treat the underdog just as Hitler and Stalin treated their people. Could you imagine a bigger Sinas Yisrael, a bigger Sinai Yisrael than this? Why do I say Lev Malachim Yad Hashem? Because in the creation of the State of Israel, Truman's Secretary of State, Marshall, that's famously of the Marshall Plan, was furiously opposed. He threatened to quit if Truman would back the motion in the United Nations for the State of Israel, which without it, the United Nations vote would not have passed. And what happened? A miracle. When Harry Truman was a young man, he worked in a bank. There was a Jewish gentleman whose parents were from, his mother lit candles, he grew up in a kosher house, he went to shul, his two brothers were from, named Eddie Jacobson, used to bank there. And he bumped into Harry Truman, this is beginning of 1900, and they became friends. They sort of hit it off to the point. They went to the army together. And in the army, they opened the canteen together. Truman said on Eddie Jacobson, who was not from, who didn't wear a yarmulke, he's my brother. 1948. They're trying to get the UN resolution passed. They need the United States. President Weizmann of Israel calls up Eddie Jacobson. He says, please convince him to go against Marshall, the entire State Department. This fellow who, except for you, towards the Jewish people, did not have kind thoughts. He compared them to Hitler and Stalin. Listen to this clip from President Harry Truman describing how Eddie Jacobson changed his mind.
Dr. Weizmann had been trying to get in all along, and I wouldn't let him in. But someone did come to see me, and he got in. His name was Eddie Jacobson. He came in, he stood around, didn't say very much, was as quiet as he could be, and I finally said, Eddie, what in the world's the matter with you? Have you at last come to get something? Well, because you never have asked me for anything since I've been in the White House and since we've been friends. And then he told me that he thought that I ought not to keep Dr. Weizmann out of the White House.
So what do I say? I say, Lev Malachim B'yad Hashem. Like the Ralbag says, don't daven for the president. Right? In fact, the Uraim says a person should not daven for a particular event because he never knows what's right. Lev Malachim B'yad Hashem. Ruba de Ruba, Rabbeinu Shalom Fetterwel.